Same car, same price, but it can feel like a steal or a total ripoff to the same customer, depending entirely on what you happen to show them and how 30 seconds earlier. How people's brains work seems weird until you understand exactly why. Hello, my name is Frankie, and welcome to Wired to Win, the Auto Dojo Quick Hit series, where we go under the hood of the one piece of equipment you use in every deal, every conversation, and every relationship you'll ever have, your brain. The Orbitofrontal Cortex, or OFC, sits just above your eye sockets and is technically a subsection of the prefrontal cortex, but its specific job earns its own episode. It calculates value. Researchers have found individual neurons in the OFC literally encode how much you want something weighed against cost and effort. To put it simply, it's your brain's built-in price tag generator running constantly, whether you asked it to or not. Damage to the OFC in human and animal studies wrecks a person's ability to make value-based choices at all. They can still reason just fine. They just lose the ability to know what they actually want and if it's worth it. This is the structure firing every time a customer stares at a price and a payment and quietly asks themselves, is this worth what they're asking? And here's the part that should reshape how you think about how you present your product or your agenda. OFC research shows this valuation is not cold, rational math. It's shaped hard by context, framing, emotion, and whatever the customer compared it to 2 minutes ago. Show a customer the fully loaded trim first, then the one they can actually afford, and that second price genuinely feels smaller to their brain than it would have on its own. That's not a sneaky sales trick bolted into neuroscience. That is the neuroscience. But it goes deeper. Studies tracking neural activity show the OFC's read on value actually precedes and predicts activity in the striatum, the reinforcement structure from part 7 coming up in a few episodes, meaning that first value judgment shapes what gets filed away as a good deal or a bad deal long after the conversation ends. In life and leadership, the OFC is running every time you weigh whether a commitment to anything or anyone is worth your time, whether a habit's worth keeping, or whether a certain job is worth the trade-offs. It also gets hijacked by short-term thinking and immediate gratification. A strong immediate reward can warp the OFC's read on long-term value, which is exactly why the second slice of cake always feels worth it after dinner at 9 p.m. and never feels worth it the next morning at 6 a.m. Same brain, different math, depending on the moment. This context sensitivity cuts both ways, though. If a customer walked in fresh off of an obtainable advertised lowball price they saw online, or a fight about money at home, their OFC is already calculating value against a distorted baseline before you've even said a word, which is exactly why the first few minutes of a conversation where you reset the frame is like entering a fight and trying to punch way above your weight class. The practical takeaway: value isn't fixed, it's calculated, live, relative to whatever it's being compared to. In sales, that means sequencing and resetting matter as much as the number. In life, it means pausing to ask, am I valuing this because it's actually good for me or because of what I happen to compare it to 5 minutes or 5 years ago? So go do it now. On the floor, on your next presentation, deliberately choose what you show or mention first because it's quietly anchoring everything that follows. And reset the customer's baseline with empathy if necessary. At home, before your next big purchase or commitment, pause and ask yourself honestly the true value of what you're actually comparing it against. Why is this important? Well, because if you don't understand how your customer's brain calculates value, you're negotiating half blind and handing back margin you never needed to hand back. And at home, ignoring your own value calculator is how you talk yourself out of things that are genuinely good for you or into things that definitely aren't. So go take action, keep the customer first, and go dominate your floor and your life. To have these quick hits delivered to your email and text, scan the QR code you see here to subscribe or go to autodojotraining.com, and I look forward to serving you in the Auto Dojo soon.